Hey, it's Mosquito, also known as Chris. Welcome to the shop. Don't have much for today, but I got to get this bench a little bit cleared off. I guess I'm kind of treating this as you would probably say one of those shop updates that I used to do, kind of the what's in my shop. And the reason for that is because some things are still a little bit in limbo. The table saw stuff is still at the sandblasters, so that went out about a week and a half, 2 weeks ago. So I'm still waiting to get the phone call back that those are ready to go. Thought about turning into the motor. I've got to rebuild that one and just kind of generally go through it. I decided not to do that yet because I didn't want to end up in the middle of that and then all of a sudden get the call like, hey, your parts are done. Because basically, as soon as I can get my table saw parts back, the intention is to get them at least primed so that way I don't have to worry about any sort of rust cropping up. One of the things that I do plan on hopefully getting to at some point here is this is the Veritas small plow plane, and I intend to get a review of that up soon, but I just wanted to get a little bit of use under my belt, so I've been using it a fair bit, and I'm gonna be working on that here soon, probably. That's an antique workbench. It's one that I found locally. Honestly, the main thing that I was after was right here. It had a bench stop. As dumb as it sounds, the main reason why I wanted that workbench came with another vise that I liked, but anyway, it's an E.H. Sheldon workbench. It's a number 11. That particular one came out of a school system that was local, and the best that I can tell, it's somewhere around the 1930s is when that workbench would have been made and probably originally put in that school system. I didn't really have a use for it. Like I said, I liked the vise, which I already had two of, and the bench dog was, or the planing stop was the main thing that I was after on that one. So what's the intention for this workbench? So it sat out in my regular garage attached to the house, not the shop, for a little while before it came back here. My son, who's 3, kept seeing it and he kept asking me, I said, what is that? I said, well, that's a workbench. And he said, is that my workbench? And so one day I thought about it and I said, you know what, buddy? Sure, that can be your workbench. If you like it, then I think you can use it. And he said, yeah, as, 3-year-olds would. I guess that's essentially what I'm going to do with it then. So this is the workbench. It's held down. The top is held down with just 2 lag bolts, one here and then same thing on the other side. And I've already taken it apart. So it's a workbench that's almost 100 years old. So it's, well, seen better days, I guess you would say. And I took it all apart because the ends weren't glued on anymore. There was a couple, I think this ended up being 3 or 4 pieces. The tool tray isn't glued in, so that was fine. But I took it all apart and then sanded everything just to kind of clean it up and get that all glued back together, put back together. That basically just cleaned it up, leveled it out. There's a lot of nails in it, as you would imagine a workbench from a school having. That was fun on the sander. But anyway, ran it through the drum sander and now we're here. So there you can see it's the same basic idea, essentially the same frame. I basically took the measurements from that one, transferred it to this one, made it shorter, and then these I moved down. So on the regular workbench space, it's kind of in the middle. On this one, I put them way closer to the bottom, and then I added a stretcher at the top. So this thing is actually quite rigid, and this one actually had a little bit of wiggle to it. But the reason I did that is because on my workbench, I put a shelf on the bottom, and I actually liked that. So we'll see how this actually gets used, or if it gets used. If he wants to work out in the shop, then he can, but I'm not going to force him into it because I don't want it to be no fun, because it's something that I really enjoy and I'd love to enjoy it with him. But if he's not having fun, then I don't need to enjoy having him out here because it's up to him. I could easily see myself putting a couple of runners down here and then a couple of end pieces in later to put in a shelf if we had something to put down there. So that's the design of this thing. What I need to do is get the other side of this top off, and then I'm gonna flip this one onto it or something and figure out how to get those bolt holes into this one, and then we will put the top on it. Oh, it's really heavy on one end. I should have taken that vise off, but oh well. Okay, so those are about the same length, and that's right in the middle. That's right in the middle. So I guess realistically, I could probably just measure and mark. So I'll flip this over since those are in the middle, just to make sure things line up. So I ran these across the joiner just to take them down about 1/4 of an inch. That was enough to have enough of that bolt sticking through to go into the top. But then I started looking at it, and I was just gonna put it back together. Somebody's gonna say, I can't believe you went through all that work to make it and then leave it like that. I was just gonna leave it like that. But here we are. We stained it. Now I gotta wait for this to dry. And then I'm probably gonna put a coat of poly over top of it. Gotta wait for that to dry. And then we'll put it under the bench. And then we'll put it where it belongs. This project just took a turn. Yep. It's the way it goes. All right, so the other thing that I did, all this kind of got moved around a little bit. I know it doesn't look like it. Plane till and all that stayed pretty much where it was. The saw till is pretty much where that was. But what did change is I used to have the saw till sitting on top of the bench, and then that was all the way on the other end. So I got the saw till hung up on the wall. I just used a French cleat for that, to get that off of here. Basically pushed the cabinet over, slid the plane till all the way to the end, and then kind of cleaned up just a little bit. I've got all my braces and stuff over here on the end of this with a couple of hanging things, and what I need to do is decide if I want to keep them there and just have the other bench over a little bit further, or if I want to try and figure out how to get them onto the other end. I was almost thinking I might want to hang them on the wall, but I also got some longer tracks there so that I could maybe add some more shelving. I don't know yet. Still kind of figuring out this whole area a little bit. All I do know is I intend for the other workbench to go over there. All that's going to have to get cleaned up and find a new home somewhere. And longer term goal is to get rid of this base cabinet entirely and have something just for the planes and some of my workbench accessories there. So I don't know. We'll see. Well, I hit something. As long as I can lift this thing up and the base comes with it, we're good. All right, so truth be told, I didn't actually put the poly on that thing yet. It's still going to be something that I'm going to finish up. But for now, I needed it to get out of the way because it's supposed to be a little bit rainy. I'm not exactly sure how long it's going to take before I'm going to be able to get the poly on that. And I don't really want to do that in here because, well, there's just not enough room with all the other crap that I got to put away. So with clearing out that corner, I got to find a few homes for a few things and do a little bit of rearranging, and then we'll be good to go. Hopefully, I'm going to be getting my table saw parts back soon. Not exactly sure when, but I'm just trying to make sure that I'm always ready, or at least within an evening of being ready. That way I can get the phone call, get down there, get everything all squared away. Not exactly sure when that's going to happen, so stay tuned and subscribe if you want to follow along to the table saw stuff. I think I'm done with that bench. Probably not do anything else with it. I'm just gonna maybe show you an update quick when I actually do get some poly or some finish coat on it. I was also hoping to get a little bit of a tour on the plane till up shortly. There was somebody that was asking about that, and it's been quite a while since I've shown that. So I built that probably 2012, I think. So that's been a while. So I might show that a little bit and kind of show off how it works and maybe some of the plans that I have for it in the future. I hope to change a few things. Other than that, I've just got to do some rearranging, and then hopefully that Veritas small plow plane will be coming up soon. So anyway, I don't know if that was really a shop update of what's in my shop or a project for my son's bench, but hey, here we are. I appreciate those of you that stuck around this far. I hope you found something at least entertaining and maybe a sneak peek into the things to come in the near future. And with that, I will catch you in the next one.